What's up, Tom?
Enley, how we doing?
Good, good. We leveled up. Look at this. Look where we're
Dude,
at.
finally made it.
We made it. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom. This is
Hey, no,
this is awesome.
thank you, bro. Thank you for having me.
Right,
This is
right. This is awesome, man. This is awesome,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
man. Where can we start, bro? Where can we start? Hey, I want to start with this actually, because Tom, I don't know if I expressed this to you, bro, but because I wanted to start this podcast in 2021. Right?
Dude, I
You
remember.
remember that?
Dude, we were sitting in your Chevy Malibu,
Yes, yes.
dude, with our iPhones on both sides, just trying our best to figure it out. I mean, you were trying to figure it out. I was just privileged to be there.
Actually, I take that back. 2020. I was going to do a podcast with some other friends, and I realized how hard that was. And then when I got to you, I had the technology down, the cheapest possible way to do it, to record something. And I still got it till this day. I actually rewatched it a little bit ago. And then the next problem was I couldn't find anybody. Everyone's scared shitless to be on my fucking podcast. They're like, they don't want to lose their fucking job, bro. So I'm like, God damn, I got the technology. I don't have the fucking guests. And
Yeah.
now, like, I told myself before the year started, and it sucked. I didn't meet the deadline. I got it on January 1st, not December 31st. But I put out my first podcast. But holy shit, I really underestimated all of this. But bro, I wanted you to be my first guest on my first official podcast, but schedules and everything.
It's
But
all right.
like, bro, technically in the books, you're my first podcast. I just want to let you know that.
Hell yeah.
And again, thank you for having
Thank
that
you.
opportunity, bro, because you actually have a business, you know, so many people. But like, I mean, you're actually brave enough. Like, you actually have to a level of bravery to do this. People are scared to do this, and there's real real consequences out there. I actually don't blame them. I'm not shitting on anybody.
But you do open yourself up, to controversy, and you put a target on yourself, and you have to try to express like as genuine of a person you can, for everyone to look at and scrutinize. Like I said, it's tough to do, super tough to do.
Yeah. Super humbling, man. The whole process. Because I'm like, how hard, it's legit a meme. Like every dumbass has got a podcast online. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's legit a meme. But then you look, no, you actually have to know a lot of fucking things. Like this is a long fucking journey.
Yes.
Like, like everything from the technology. I mean, the technology alone is just ridiculous. Learning how to do all this. And again, like I've been saying before the podcast, like I just appreciate all this so much.
I mean, in your journey, I mean, how much hours do you think you took just learning some of the basics
Oh,
with starting what you have started?
I didn't even know the basics at first. I'm like, what am I learning? Software, then audio, and then getting into it and hardware. I'm like, holy shit, this is a million fucking things. So I couldn't, bro, since 2020. Like, I'm kind of embarrassed to say that because it took so long, but that's how ignorant I was. It took
Yeah.
that long. And then finding people, but just the human aspect of it, how to get someone on your podcast. I was already halfway there with the technology. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, well, that's something I think you expressed to me just in the past, like trying to get people on, and it was just a huge hurdle, even just for myself, like you said, scheduling wise. I mean, yeah, yeah,
I mean, this is why I'm doing the podcast, man, overall. Like, because I realized before, like when I was fighting, my schedule was fucking insane. And I realized I would procrastinate a lot and just bullshit with people when I should be like running off, going somewhere else or getting some work done. I'm like, this is the number one thing I did with the podcast. Like right now, I took a section of your time. Me and you could just hang out and bullshit. We can't do this in life anymore. This is actually a luxury to sit down with
Yes.
someone, just focus. I just get to know you, have a real conversation. Before we had coffee shops, cigar shop. I still love those things.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad they still exist. But like, everyone's too damn busy. You legit can't afford to do this anymore. This is a luxury.
No, it's really tough to be able to sit down and just have conversations with people. I mean, I feel like, and that's a big problem in life today. Everyone's just such on the go.
Yes.
No one even takes a second to worry about just today, the present, as a lot of people call it. It really is a gift, but it also takes an ability to understand. Like you do have to remember where you came from to know where you're going. And it always goes back to like you have to focus on the now most importantly, because now is all really anybody has. You can't guarantee tomorrow, and the past is the past.
Right. Totally.
But I think
100%.
there was a saying I posted on my IG story. It was like the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago.
Yes. Yes. Totally.
It's 2020 when you started this thing.
Oh my God. I mean, like, I just didn't realize the bullshit I was going to go through. I just didn't expect those problems. You know, I didn't think anybody would be that fucking sick. I didn't realize had any little courage. I didn't think this took much courage, to be honest. Like, I speak every day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
if I say it in real life, I'll probably say it on camera. But I realized, no, people don't operate like me. That's actually, I'm low-key, I'm a little bit of a lunatic thinking like that. But I'm dead serious. Why would I say it? Why would I say
Yeah.
anything in public if I wouldn't say recorded?
Yeah.
But then I'm like, oh, I'm not shady.
That's true too.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not fucking corrupt. like majority of people are like, they're scared shitless. That makes perfect sense looking back on it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like another thing too that blows my mind, at first I was kind of flattered. I'm like, some of the guys are like, I'm gonna get fired from my job, this and that. And I'm like, oh shit, like bro, I'm just starting out, bro. I don't have 1 million followers, but I don't know if you think I'm gonna get there in a couple days, which is you being a guest.
Well, that's one of the scariest things nowadays is that I feel like at any given time, you know, like you could be saying something or expressing a belief, and somebody will artificially put a target on your back and like really try to attack your livelihood for something that you said or think, not necessarily even believe or know. And that's the scary part in today's world. And I think that's what doing stuff like this, that's really brave right there. It really is.
Man, I thought this was America. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm dead serious, bro. What the fuck? It's the First Amendment, bro.
For real.
Like, we're not saying anything crazy, bro. We're not saying anything crazy.
Oh yeah.
You know
I
what I'm saying? Like, what have we said is crazy? I mean, like, people just skew things and they get emotional with it. Like, I don't think I've said anything that absurd, you know, ever in my life. Again, like, whatever I would say on here, I would say in real life. I would say in a store. I would say anywhere else. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I like to say I have some decency and some respect because then I'm like thrown off. I'm like, what do you think I'm going to say on the mic? Like, what? Like, you know
yeah.
me, bro. You know me. Like, this is friends I was asking, bro. I've known for years. Be on a podcast. I'm like, bro, me and you have amazing conversations. Think about we recorded it.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be amazing. There's another reason why I love podcasting, bro. We just record this. Like, we're talking about the present
Yes.
moment. That's what we're doing in time.
Well,
Very high quality, too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You know, that's something that I've noticed always comes at a challenge in every podcast that I've either watched or I've been a part of is the authenticity. And I think the camera just pulls like I said, it like makes people go into like this guard where
Oh,
like
yeah?
you have a
I think I look pretty big right now.
right? But like people have a hard time just like relaxing the shoulders, like we were
Yeah.
saying, just like BSing, being themselves, and it's a real challenge. It really is a challenge. I think even in this one podcast I watched, it was like dead silence, you know, 4 or 5 minutes. But with that being said, you know, it was still a Joe Rogan podcast. You know, he was there talking to Jamie, trying to find something. But it's tough to it's really tough to like just I think pull back the layer and just unwind a little bit. And it's just not easy. I mean, think about when you first just meet somebody in general. It's you know, it's just very difficult. Even me and you when we first met. I think I forget how I even like what we were even talking about. But I remember we were at Strong Style. I was stretching, and you were mopping the floors. I remember it was the mats. It was the mats.
Yes, sir. Yes,
It was
sir.
like right at lunchtime. All the lights were off, and I was like, "Hey, yo!" And it was I can't even remember what we were talking about. Probably something in 2020. All the crazy
Oh,
stuff
yeah,
was
yeah,
going
yeah,
on.
yeah.
It was
The
so easy.
lunacy, like,
Oh yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Man, Tom, see, people act different in front of cameras. I know because I was telling you a little bit about this. Like, it's really a phase.
Mm-hmm.
I like to say it. I'm like, I don't know everything about this, but this is what I experienced. I noticed it was a phase because I started acting different in front of cameras because at first I was just doing it. I was filming myself to get better technique. So when I would film myself, I would do the best technique because I want shitty technique. You know, I'm throwing a bitch punch on camera. You know what I'm saying? That's how
Yes.
it started out. But then I'm like, okay, what about if I film myself speaking or do this and do that? And obviously, like when you get on camera, you try to look your best and everything. Like that's the benefits. But But then the negatives are like you start changing. And another thing too, people don't even realize this is in society now, since there's cameras everywhere, the average person passes by 28 cameras a day.
Is it really 20 cameras?
28. 28 in
28?
America. And think about it, and they're legit everywhere. Everybody's always watching you. So think about it. You're already conditioned by society to act differently. You know the speed cameras? Illegal. Federally, no, you definitely gotta look me up. In the state of Ohio, I know for a fact that you cannot take a picture or videotape someone, but they still have the cameras up. And the psychology behind that is, well, we save money and we don't tear those down. But you actually go the speed limit still because you're like, what happens if someone's watching me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, there's loopholes and stuff like because they can still take videos and pictures of you and stuff. You know, like what's the Newburgh Heights? You know what I'm saying? That notorious area. They still do that, but basically, my bad, going on a tangent.
You're good.
What I'm trying to say is, we pass by so many cameras in life, and we actually act differently in stores and in other places, and we're getting conditioned. And the only place we could be ourselves is at home, by ourselves. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and hell, I mean, people have cameras in their homes. Actually, I take that back. I don't know, bro. They're impossible to get away from.
Oh, it is impossible. Yeah,
You know,
right there. You got
they're
3 of them.
everywhere, bro. Come on, bro. 28. I mean, I think that's conservative right there. 28 cameras a day.
I would agree. There's probably way more.
Right.
I mean, I'm thinking about it right now. We got 8 just on this table.
Right. But they're supposed to be here, and I'm conscious of that. I consent to be on camera. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay with all of that. But what I'm not okay with is when I don't have the consent. It's like, what's going on? This is mass surveillance. Just get straight to a mass surveillance state. This is what's going on. In other countries, it's actually normal, like CCTV. My one friend went to South Korea. You actually just flip a channel. Pretty convenient. He's like, oh, is the train station crowded today? I don't know if I want to take the train. Click a couple buttons, and you're just, like, oh, it's not crowded. There's nobody there. I'm going there. Or let's see, my coffee shop's open. Or let's see, there's traffic going down the street. How's the highway looking?
And what country is this in?
Oh, this is the majority of the world.
Are you serious?
Because the majority of the world, like South Korea, China, these places, I don't know. Like, I haven't visited these places, but like, the government would like to say they got consent from the people. They're like, hey, we're making society better. Like, for example, like you could see if you want to go down to your beach or over here, because there's cameras everywhere, and for crime too, because you can't do anything in public. So people act differently in those countries, which is kind of what's weird in this country though, is they try to hide it. They're like, we don't want you to know we're looking at you. Maybe it's a cultural thing. I don't know. I haven't been to those other countries, so I can't say it's better. My one friend said it was a positive experience. He's like, I like the cameras. I'm like, very interesting. And it really helped him out, right? Mm-hmm. But like, it just, I don't know, it just comes off dystopian when they don't tell you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I like to know if I'm being filmed.
Well, I think that's one of the biggest things people are starting to learn since we met in 2020 is that our government is not telling us the truth about a lot of things.
Oh, no. I had no idea.
Really? You didn't know our government was lying
Go
to us?
Go ahead. Speak.
Well, I mean, what do you want to talk about with that? I mean, one of the prime examples I think that was just recently came out was the JFK files.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, something that
Hey, you want to go there? Let's go.
Well, I mean, it was suspected. That they thought a certain person killed them, but it ended up being, now we may or may not know, the CIA from the seat of the car. What was it, the passenger seat? I'm pretty sure. I mean,
Oh, the guy in front killed him?
I believe so.
I saw that on X. The guy, like, I don't know if this is new footage.
You can almost see like the. Let me do it like towards the camera so people can see. You could almost see like the
yeah, I saw
shot.
that video. I'm like, that is bizarre. I've never seen this.
And if you look at her reaction, what's JFK's wife's name?
Oh, I just lost it.
Mrs. Kennedy. I'll be respectful. When you watch
Jackie Kennedy. Yeah, Jackie Kennedy. Yeah.
when you look at Jackie Kennedy's response to the situation, you could clearly see, like, obviously there was a sense of shock, but her first exit point wasn't to like hide within the car. It was to get out of the car. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was clearly something that had happened in the vehicle that alarmed her, that she was like, I need to go, moving vehicle or not, out of here. Because granted, if there was a sniper, I mean, I, I don't know. I'm not a military guy, but I think our first reaction would probably be to get down into hiding, and they were to drive differently. But instead, the car kind of stayed the same pace. There was no reaction from the driver, and her first reaction was, "I need to exit immediately." It's
Oh,
just
you
very.
think so? I think it was an exit.
Oh,
I
when you watch the video, I mean, you could definitely see there was a sense of shock, and then she's trying to hop out the back of the vehicle.
I like to say personally. See, there's so many interpretations. I like to say she was scooping up his brains.
I mean, yeah, possibly.
I wouldn't say she was trying to jump out of the car because she's like, I mean, that was fucking horrific. I mean, everyone's seen the film, but
Oh, horrible.
I believe that's what she was doing, but maybe that's an interpretation. I don't know. Watch
Well,
the film again.
it's at the very tail end of the film, because you could see it's so graphic. You know, you could see that
Yeah.
there was a moment where she's like holding her husband,
Yeah, yeah,
and I think that's the part where you're kind of like referring to.
yeah.
But then there's a sense of like realization of what happened, and then you can see like she tries to exit out of
Yeah,
the
it's
tail end
insane.
of the vehicle. You know, it is very. It's
No one's ever done that.
well, the worst part is like it happened in broad daylight, and
Yes.
then, you know, the only people that can even testify to it at the time are the people that are there, and they don't 100% know what happens. I mean, look at me and you. We're not the tallest people in the world. What are we, 5'8", 5'9" on a best day? You know, so if
5'12",
5'12".
5'12".
So even if you think about it, you know, like we don't have the greatest views of what's going on in a crowded room.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, I mean, now we're going back to the game of telephone. We don't have clear footage. I mean, it took them forever to really find that footage and uncover it, and then just to analyze it, and then for everything to be released in the files. I mean, it's quite interesting what they're concealing as the government.
Well, the idea is with that stuff, you know, people don't realize, you know, the Freedom of Information Act, like since we pay taxes, you deserve to know where your money's going. People don't realize this. You could look up everything that the government's doing, CIA, FBI, and like some of this stuff's been out for years too. It's just they're all talking about it right now, but like it's in there. That's what the Freedom of Information Act is. They tell us, but the thing is, there's so many loopholes and stuff. You could tell in the documents they blotched out stuff and they don't give us everything. And then it's like 70 years later, and there's like, again, they want to keep us safe and everything. So it's like, I mean, I'm glad we're getting something from the government. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about them being shady. At least they're giving us something. But everyone says they're just like, I don't know, they're modified and edited. And like, yeah, sure it is. With the JFK, though, they released, I want to say, 80,000 files. And it was just all the stuff that was happening during that period. So you really have to shift through a lot of bullshit and junk. This is just a little I've like gone through. Just, excuse me, just what I've seen. But there's a lot of junk in there. Basically, all it is what the FBI and the CIA were doing from like, I don't know, like 1950 and then a little bit after his death and stuff. Was that whole time of everything that they were doing. And yeah, like, oh man, it's gonna be fucking years to do this. I can't believe it all came out right now. You know, it started with Bush. Bush was the first president that's like, we're gonna release this. This is 2000s.
I did not know that.
And then Trump came through. This is before 2020. He's like, we're going to release the files. We're working on it. But then COVID happened and everyone forgot about it. And Trump said he'd go back into office, which I do like. He promised on that he released the files. I'm like, holy shit. And you got to release the RFK is on your team. Come on, like, you know what I'm saying? But it's insanity. All this stuff, bro. It's so fucking complicated, bro.
Oh yeah.
Like what it seems like right now, what I've got, it's a combination of the CIA, the mob, and I saw it was Mossad, Israeli intelligence, and I saw maybe even like Cuba and China got in there. Like there's a lot of factions. It isn't just one person. Everyone's like, come on, who killed him? No. It's way more complicated than that. And you got to remember in all these factions too, there are people that like him, that love JFK, and there's people that hate him. He's a polarizing figure. So you can't be like, oh, the CIA did it, or they did it. No, like come on, like it's just like a company or any group of people. Like obviously you don't agree everything with your boss, You know what I'm saying? You don't have the
Yeah.
same political opinions. It's the same thing in these organizations. The thing is like the labels get confusing,
Yes.
but like it's
The
complicated.
labels make everything the toughest right now.
Yes, yes,
Because almost like as soon as you say you're this or you're that, I mean, it's very polarizing initially before you even get into any context.
right.
And I think that's the most alarming part of what's going on right now.
I mean, that's why it's so confusing. And this is why we haven't known about it for years. And it's like, who do you blame? And think about it, it's a company. Like, think about you got one bad egg or one bad seed in your company, and like they did something horrible. Like, does that represent the whole company? Like, a lot,
point.
do you have to express that to the public? They're like, hey, that's not even us. That doesn't represent our brand. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't look at it like that. Like, they're like, we're not about this. Because let's say someone in the CIA helped to do this, right? I don't know the details exactly, but the example I'm giving, like whoever was the head of the CIA, maybe they weren't about it. But someone else that was a part of it did something. And you're like, what the hell? You can't blame the CIA. Like, do you see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Who do you
No.
blame in a company? And it's just this. I mean, this happens in so many examples.
Well, it's almost the same with like war crimes, you know.
Yeah,
The
same
general-
exact thing.
the
Groups
gen-
of
there's,
people.
There's a general, there's a soldier, there's a chain of command.
Yeah.
And things are said and done, and it's hard to figure out who to point the blame
Yeah.
at. Do I point it at the guy at the top? Do I point it at the guy at the end? Or is it everybody else in the middle?
Right.
Or is it all parties involved? And that's a very tough question to answer.
That's why there's 80,000 files. We don't know the exact answer. You just got to shift through them. And you see, like, we saw the same film. We gave two interpretations
That's very
of
true.
Jackie Kennedy. I'm like, I thought she was like, I never even thought she was running out the car. I'm like, her husband just got shot. She's going to jump out of a moving car unless she lost her mind that second.
Yeah.
I legit thought she was scooping up, like, as morbid as that is. I thought that's what she was doing. But, like, right there, like, do you see how complicated this is? Like, holy shit.
Well, and even though the toughest part with current events or past events, and we're fortunate enough we had a video of something where
Oh, yeah.
that sounded like it felt good,
Oh, yeah, it felt amazing. Yeah, and Mike got that.
but
My bad.
no, but it's just so complicated because we're fortunate enough where we have video and we're still
Yes.
getting two interpretations or two perspectives of what happened, and now you have to take it back. Oh gosh, when did that happen? 1960?
I want to say 1962, 63.
R.I.P.
Someone's going to fact check me.
But it's 1962, 1963. I mean, that's 40, 50 years ago. No, 60 years ago.
Right, and that's why they released the files. They promised us, you know what I'm saying? But we got to wait half a century, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying, to get this. And then everyone forgot about it, and who gives a shit about it? And some kids don't even know who the fuck JFK is. Like, they don't understand any of this stuff.
You know,
63? Okay, nice. Yeah, bro. President to get assassinated like that? Like, bro, I don't know if you know, like, if you looked at the angles and stuff, because the angles make no sense. Lee Harvey Oswald, I mean, people claim because he was in the military, like, he could have made that shot. It is a moving vehicle, though. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of difficult. The CIA, I saw in the documents, they were tracking him. The guy was in, and the guy traveled to the Soviet Union. That you can find on Wikipedia. You know what I'm saying? That's old news. He was in the Soviet Union. Obviously, like, he loved communism and stuff and Marxism. And obviously, America at the time was against that. And what came out, though, was he was in Mexico. He was in Mexico City doing a lot of stuff there, which I thought was interesting. And they were following him. And I guess he was in other places in South America, too, which is really interesting. Like, a bunch of things have been coming out that are really interesting.
it is interesting.
Yeah, man. Like, it's...
I mean, why would he even be in Mexico, or even South America?
I don't know, but I when I went to Mexico, bro, I realized, like, Mexico City, like, especially my friend's capital in Guanajuato, and the capital's name is Guanajuato. But
Oh yeah,
what I noticed is, like, especially there's a big art scene, like Diego Rivera and stuff, like famous art, one of the most famous artists in Mexico. He was there. Frida, the lady with the unibrow.
Oh,
She was an
yeah, yeah.
artist in Mexico. There's a lot of artists and a lot of people that came out of there, and I kind of noticed the politics is maybe 100 years ago and stuff. Like, there was definitely a lot of communism, Marxism. Like, people had those ideas, and like the art scene and more like liberal crowds. So I could see why, like, because when I went there, I felt that vibe. because it's not the country. You know, we're in the middle of the biggest cities out there, so it makes sense, to be honest. Like everything that's going on, and like, you know, Cuba's right there, and like there's more of an influence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So like, oh, another thing that blew my mind, Tom, was
What was?
in the document. This is just passing by. They were looking after Oswald and other things in the document, but a CIA agent claimed, because he was in Argentina. Yeah, you know where I'm going with this, right? He claimed to see an elderly Adolf Hitler in public. This is what he claimed. He's like, I just passed right by him. He's like, I just confirmed this. He was not looking for that. You know what I'm saying? He's like, what?
Well, I think
And
that
got
was
evidence too.
was I believe that was another thing that was confirmed as well, that Adolf Hitler did not die in Germany in World War II. I mean, I know that's super controversial,
No, it's not
but I'm
controversial at
pretty
all.
I'm
What are you
pretty
talking
sure.
about? Not going. No, it's not. No, Tom. In 2021, I've
Yeah.
had this document. I'm actually late to the game. I don't know when the document came out, but I got it in 2021. It's been on my phone from the FBI, that the FBI claims Adolf Hitler went to South America. That's why it throws me off. It's different when the government of Argentina comes out that says it, but why is everyone acting like it's brand new? I've had the document since 2021, and I got it off the FBI website, the Freedom of Information Act. That's why I brought that up earlier. You just download it for free. I'm allowed to do that. I'm a taxpayer. I'm allowed to get this information. So it throws me off. Why is everyone talking about this now?
Yeah, that's it.
It's old news, bro. It's honestly old news. I've had it on my phone, bro.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not, I could show it to you right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I don't know. That just, maybe it's because, you know, that came up the files. I don't know, but it's still a crazy document from the
Yeah.
FBI. Why are we talking about this now? Like, that really throws me off.
That is a great question.
It's been out. I swear, you can look it up. Any of you guys, you know, I'm not bullshitting you guys. Go on your phone right now. Like, if you're watching this, you're on your phone. Look it up right now.
Yeah.
You could download it for free.
I think that's also something that we've seen, not only like our government, but other governments really try to do. And this could be why they're releasing it. You know, we've never seen such controversy at much time and such polarizing ideas. And we see this out of other nations too. And it's just, I think that's kind of like what their strategy is, to kind of distract us from everything that is going on. Is, you know, we drop a little bit here, drop a little bit here. So they drop, you know, stuff about World War II. They drop a little bit about JFK, and you know, the powers that be kind of even like they do current events too. You know, like, oh, let's drop this music here, this sporting event here, and that's where it's really frustrating, is because I feel like they truly are trying to distract us at all areas, and whether they can make you a label on this side or that side, or you're this race or that race, this religion, that religion. Everything's super. Instead of us like trying to like really work together and understand each other and help ourselves to help each other, they always make. I feel like they make everything polarizing almost. I mean, I don't know if that made sense, but
Oh, absolutely makes sense. You know
it's
what I'm
just
saying?
and it's frustrating too, because next thing you know, you go to your Christmas dinner,
Right.
and just because you're like, hey, did you hear about this file of XYZ? Next thing you know, you're someone who has a polarizing belief as you. Now they're like, oh my God, I can't talk to this guy. I can't talk to this gal. I mean, it's almost insulting to the previous 10, 20, 30 years of your life that you've known this person. But people write people off. But I think that's kind of their strategy. If they could pull,
They divide and conquer.
divide and conquer, yes. Who said that? Who said divide and conquer? I can't even remember. What? Isn't it a philosopher that said that?
Divide and conquer. Probably have to look me up on this, but Sun Tzu. I
That
probably
Sun
have to
Tzu?
say, yeah, I want to say so. Divide and conquer. I mean,
And probably one of the best books ever written was The Art of War.
yeah, Art of War. I mean, I'd like to say that. I know there's a quote he's got, like, don't divide up your forces. You know what I'm saying? You want to, you know, put all your put your eggs in all, nah, that's not the best analogy.
Yeah, no, that is.
Put your eggs in one basket. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Put your eggs in one basket. You know, you want to go all in. You know, we're attacking this.
We'll even think about exactly what we were talking about before you started the podcast, and you double down on your life and your business. I mean, and I know you. I probably have brought this up to you before, even about myself. Like, when I was trying to work on real estate, I was working at my uncle's scrap company. and then I was trying to focus on Project Color, the coloring business. I had three directions I was trying to push myself
Right.
into. And in reality, if I were to just put my eggs in one basket, whether it was cutting up scrap metal, working on the coloring project, or even working just solely on my
Yeah.
real estate, which I'm working on now, I mean, you can get just so much further going with an 80-10-10 approach versus 30-30-30. I mean, it's interesting.
No, totally. Like, I could tell you this podcast because I realized I was doing that. Like, going back to that, because a month and a half before, because yeah, it was like, middle of November. I'm like, you know what? I'm all over the place with my business. Fuck everything. If I want the podcast up, I gotta focus on it because I really got humbled because there's so much in it. I'm like, okay, let's see how long it takes. And I thought it would be 2 weeks. It went a month and a half. And bro, I'm killing myself. No sleep. I neglected everything in my life. Everything. My health, my social life, like just to get the podcast up. And I got my first podcast up and the lips don't even fucking match. Want to break my fucking computer. I'm losing my fucking mind, bro. I'm like, holy shit. You know what I'm saying? But I actually produced something. And that's because, I put all my forces in one place.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I got it done. I'm like, holy shit, that was a lot of work. And like, I know I brought this up to you, but I think that's how, I mean, I'm new to business, you know what I'm saying? But like, maybe that's just how you operate. We work in seasons.
Everything that I've done, the more I've centrally located majority of my focuses on things, and then I'll nibble
Yeah.
at other things, I've noticed that I've had better results. Even like investing stocks or money or whatever. And typically for novice investors, having a diverse profile, you're going to see you're going to see more stability in ups and downs, because some things go down, other things go up. I can't improve my bench and my squat at the same time.
Right.
It's just not real.
Oh, yeah, watch me. Watch me.
You watch me.
I'm joking.
Maybe with some vitamin S, definitely do both. But, it's just tough, and that's
Yeah.
the same thing. If I'm trying to work on my speaking and writing, you might see some improvements because they go hand in hand.
Right.
But in the grand scheme of things, you're not going to elevate one or the other unless you hyper focus on it. And, you see that a lot with athletes, people with businesses. They have like their bread and butter. Jordan, step back fade, or not step back fader, turnaround fader, prime example. Even, I use the Super Bowl champs, Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles with the tush push QB sneak. It's unstoppable, but they hyper focus on it. Or even some great fighters. You probably be able to express this when you're definitely more of more knowledgeable. But even just like Mike Tyson, how you would watch him train with Customano, how they focused solely on what's that technique called? The peekaboo technique? Is that what it's called?
The peekaboo style, yeah.
Oh my God! I mean, but they hyper focused on it. They're like, oh, you don't need to learn this. You don't need to learn that. If you double down on this, you'll be able to really elevate your game.
Mike
Or
Tyson.
even, I guess a better example would probably be Floyd Mayweather with his jab.
Yeah.
I mean, his defense and his jab, but hyper focused on that later in his career. Now he's undefeated.
Mike Tyson got with Customato at 13 years old. Bro, this guy's discipline is insane. He did nothing for 7 years.
Yes.
I want to say he was the youngest heavyweight champion. Yeah, at 20 years old. Yeah, I want to say because Muhammad Ali, you might have to look this up, but Muhammad Ali was the heavyweight champion at 21, I want to say. And then Mike Tyson beat it in 1985. And he had no life, bro. All he knew was boxing. That's all it was. Just wake up, train, run,
Just
spar.
indulged himself in it.
Bro, he knew nothing. But the thing is, this is why he crashed out. 7 years of doing nothing. And to think about that, 13, that's like high school years and stuff. Like, think about just nothing but boxing. Like, I don't even think kid went to. No, I believe Cuss actually taught him like how to read and write because he was like homeschooled, if anything. But still, like, how much schooling did he get? He was there for boxing.
Good
You know what I'm
point.
saying? He wasn't a teacher. He's a boxing coach at the end of the day. But like, That's why Mike Tyson knows about all those warriors and shit in history. It's all
Yes.
because of Cuss. You know what I'm saying? It's teaching
Hyper
at home.
focused all of his learning also probably on fighting and philosophy.
Yeah, yeah. There's no way. There's no way around it. You know what I'm saying? That's why you're there at that house.
I think that's the best and the worst part though about specialization. And we've talked about this with just having a broad knowledge in life.
Yeah.
With specialization, there's a massive consequence in burning out or in hard times not being able to survive off your specialty. I think that's the very frustrating part with it, and I see that with sports. When I used to be a strength and conditioning coach, I saw that with athletes all the time. And I worked with some amazing swimmers. I'm talking top tier. They would outperform a fish. I'm not BSing at all. Like they were like crazy fast. And the most frustrating part about it, is they would come in with all these nagging injuries, and you find out you're talking to them, and they only swim. They swim at 5. They come and work out, and then they swim at 5
Yep.
5 a.m. and then they go to school, and then they get off work or school, and then they either go to work and then they swim, or they swim and then they go to work, and then they repeat it. And they've just specialized everything in the water. Now it's elevated their swimming ability out of this world, but you start to see them in other settings and other areas of athleticism, and the deficits are alarming.
Yeah.
And it's interesting though, because in business too, you start to see that. If I hyper focus on uh, foreclosures, like for my business, what if the economy's thriving and we got no foreclosures? I don't
Right.
got no business.
Yeah, good point.
You mean I'm sure I'm going to have a trickle in, but it's the same thing in life too. I think if you specialize with what you learn, you almost follow yourself into a tunnel, versus like with the podcast. You were able to generalize everything about it. You had to learn not only how to speak, how to ask questions. You had to learn, how do I set up the podcast?
Yes.
How far does the microphone go for me? You had to learn pretty much everything from scratch. Hey, shout out Sean for making it a little bit easier on you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Come check him out at
Definitely.
Studio Mind.
Yes, yes,
Number
absolutely.
one place. But it's just, I think specialization, even though it can be great, generalization is almost safer.
Yeah, it's really, since the beginning of time, people have been arguing about this. How should you act? Seems like in our society, though, like just our economy and stuff, it's good to be, hyper focused, be super specialized. But the thing is, life doesn't work that way. You have to
No.
know a million things.
Yes.
You do a million things a day,
Yes.
and you could say like maybe that system brings out the best in society, like the pinnacle, like we see in athletes and people, and like that's what we got. But it's not really realistic. And another thing too, you could say it's like a personality trait. I mean, like like autism and stuff. Like people throw that around a lot. They're like, yeah, this because I know people that with autism, bro, crazy focus, bro. Like I know this one guy, black belt in jujitsu. Holy shit! I'm like, this is insane the focus you have on this, but it makes sense. Like these guys are so talented and they get rewarded in this. Like people, Bill Gates and Zuckerberg, people claim they have the same personality type. Me, I lose my fucking mind. Like with the podcast doing a month and a half, I lost my mind, bro. Like I can't be doing this, bro. I can't live like this. Even with MMA, bro. Like I want to do all the martial arts. I don't want to focus just on boxing. Fuck that. Just jujitsu. Like I would do that all in 1 week.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Or maybe I'm a lunatic. I'm doing a million things at once, bro. But like, I cannot do one thing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like and that's what school teaches you to do and stuff. Like that does not work for me. But I know there's a time and a place. Like I
Yes.
brought up, like we got work in seasons.
Oh, yes. Well, that's probably the most interesting. That's probably the most real life thing I took away from being a strength and conditioning coach. Not outside of like, hey, how all the exercises and the structure helps a person. But I think the biggest thing is like learning how to structure each time of the year or even the course of years. It's one of the big things in American strength training we have an issue with is, we will train for a meet. Well, that's not what the Russians are doing. The Russians are training for the Olympics 4 years from now. Oh, you're not in the
Yes.
position to even go to that Olympics? Hey, guess what? We're lengthening that, and you're starting this program for 8 years, and now we got 1 year blocks, and we're going to hyper focus. We're generalizing your training for that 8 year period, but within these blocks, we're hyper focusing on your deficits.
Yes.
And it's interesting because they would waive, just as I said, you can't improve your squat and your bench at the same time.
Right.
But it's interesting because if you could do your bench once a week, but you could squat 3 times a week, and your squat will start to be prioritized.
Yeah.
And your bench, even though it'll trickle down a little bit, yeah, your max might go from 275 to 245. That's not terrible. Was that 10%?
Yeah.
Shoot,
Sounds amazing.
it's not amazing, but it's not terrible. But your squat might go up another 25%. Okay, well, now you taper down your squat volume, you bring up your bench volume. And if people took that and analyzed the waves, the periodization of that, and they could apply that to everything in life. That's a really old principle from a track and field book, I think from like the 1910s, somewhere from the Soviets. I can't remember who wrote it. It was really good. It's really good.
See, I think specialization, because obviously in our economy, we need to make money now. You know what I'm saying? If we're not making money, we're losing money.
Yeah.
So we got to just keep on moving. Time's just moving forward. So specialization is the key short term.
Yeah.
Obviously, you might think with the discipline, like that's a long fucking time, how much time. But technically, that is the short term. That's the shortcut right there. But I believe being a generalist, like that's the long term. That's why you got guys that get underappreciated in history and stuff, like especially during their lifetime. I mean, like, let me think of something like what Nikola Tesla. He was definitely, I would say he's a generalist.
Yeah.
What I know about him, Leonardo da Vinci, like all these people, bro, like basically these polymaths and stuff. It was just over a course of time. People were like, whoa, this guy's fucking amazing. He's doing a million things in a week. Probably looks like a lunatic, probably a weirdo. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, holy shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you're saying a generalist is created from a specialist versus a specialist being created from a generalist.
Well, it seems like some people.
Or do you think a better road would be going from specialist to generalist?
Well,
or a faster track, I should say. I mean, you describe it. I'm so sorry.
no, you're all good. Well, I would say like.
What do I do with my hand? Just kidding.
I mean, people's temperaments and their personalities. Like, I brought up like, people use that all the time. Like, this guy's autistic. Like, it's legit an adjective for someone that's like hyper focused, like especially on the internet. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's definitely a temperament. It's definitely a personality. I mean, I like to say, I don't know, maybe it's genetics. Maybe you're just born with it. Because I could tell you, like, I'm different from my siblings. So I know it's difficult because I would like to say they share the most genetics with me. But I could tell they're a little bit more hyper-focused than me because I'm kind of all over the place. But I don't know. But at the same time, it's like, how can you call yourself a specialist? Like, we do different things every day. We speak to people. We drive cars. We cook food. And, like,
yeah, that's a very good point.
we do a million things, bro. Who's a true specialist? And if you are a true specialist, well, the idea is the economy's going to award you. And then you could just pay for everyone for cooking and cleaning your car and repairing things. You know what I'm saying? That's the idea. But, like, you just can't. You got to do a million things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I realized that, like, even in my business and stuff, too. Like, I'm like, again, like, going back to making the podcast, like, I had to do so many damn things. You know what I'm saying? I was all over the place, and you got to hyper-focus on that. I didn't expect to be doing that. I was a generalist. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be a podcaster. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I didn't really plan on doing that. I kind of hate that word, too. Like, I'm just having a conversation with you, and I'm filming it. Like, is it really a podcast? Like, it's almost like an event. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like, yeah, I didn't realize I had to learn all these things. And it's the same thing. I was forced to be a generalist. I wasn't trying to do that. I'm trying to train people, bro.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get people in shape. I'm trying to get people jacked. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hell yeah.
I didn't expect to do all this, but I'm like, okay. So I feel like, I don't know. Depends on the business. Life's crazy. Sometimes you got to be a specialist. Sometimes you got to be a generalist, even if it's against your temperament. And personally, I'd say life's I don't know, maybe I'm biased. Life's a lot better if you're a Renaissance man. Let's say that.
Oh, I couldn't agree more.
Life's very interesting. You know what I'm saying? Life kind of sucks as a specialist. And I've definitely been there. Like with the podcast, Like, yeah, life kind of sucks on everything else, except for the podcast. The podcast is great.
Oh yes.
What I'm hyper focused on. But sacrifice.
Well, I think something like you said, like being a Renaissance man,
Yes.
being a person to turn the page, um, what's lift the veil. Um, what's a good term? What's a good term? I can't even think of it. Side effect of marijuana. Haven't even smoked yet. Gosh, God darn it. Um, but it's just something about like pushing the envelope and like even your abilities. It's something where your life experiences that you get from those moments triumph the almost the how do I word it, the the mindlessness that sometimes come with the everyday life that specialists face, because they're typically seeing the same thing every day. If I'm
Right.
a generalist and I'm a plumber and I'm working on residential, commercial, I'm excavating,
Hmm.
I'm putting on every hat, whereas if I'm just going and let's say just quoting a job or I'm just walking some land or doing just something where I do the same thing every day. I see the same people. I mean, it's almost numbing in a way. Being a generalist, being out there experiencing all
Hmm.
forms of life, all forms of situations. I mean, even the same moment ain't the same. I mean, even that, like it's almost like it's a new conversation or a new book every time. It's hard to explain, but it's just wholesome.
Yeah, I say this is really just based on the person, because I can name famous specialists and famous, generalists like Elon Musk. That's the first one comes to mind. You know what I'm saying? That guy's not an expert in anything. If
No,
anything, if you were call him a specialist in any way,
yeah,
that would be in business. But this guy's so across the board. I mean, like, he's not like, obviously, he's not at the level of the people he hires, obviously, but that's why he hired them. You know what I'm saying? Because he would have done it himself, but he got someone else. He, leverage. But
talk about I mean, sorry to cut you off. Talk about just a polarizing person.
oh yeah, yeah. You guys can hate me. I've liked
Unbelievable.
Elon Musk since I was like 12 years old. I'm not even being that guy. Like he shot his first rocket in high school. Like I remember this. Like I'm like that's badass. I've been
But
keeping track of him since then. How do people know him just now?
but
Actually, like
it's
what the
just
fuck?
it's just so crazy to me. Like we're talking about a guy that started making electric cars to make the world greener, and he associates himself with one figure, and then follows up by the same people that bought his car because it was quote unquote green and energy efficient are now burning hazardous
Yeah,
materials freely, like just
yeah.
openly. Like it's just absolutely the logic is mind blowing.
Well, now that's actually that might be another thing that I might get in trouble for saying on a podcast. Being a fan of Elon Musk, but I've liked him since I was a kid. Like I've legit known him for this long. Like I just got to make that clear. Like it's crazy that it's a bad thing to say. I would talk to people about Musk like in high school. I'm like, bro, this dude just shot a rocket. Like John Kerry was talking shit about him. Like
Hmm.
this is during the election. I remember. I'm like, this is cool as hell, bro. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know an entrepreneur like me or you could get enough money, shoot a rocket in space. I'm like, is that legal?
I think
Like
he
what
had
the
a
fuck?
I think Elon had a quote because some guy was like, "Oh yeah, you're the richest man in the world," and he said, "Oh, I'm not the richest until I'm not rich until I can buy a legion." So I was
Or an
like,
army?
"Oh yeah," but if you think about it, I mean,
Yeah.
like he doesn't have as much money as I mean maybe as some countries, but not like any major forces. And even if he did have enough money as like some of these countries, he still has no resources, even remotely on the scale of these
Well,
guys.
every, all of his money's in his companies. Like again, I've been
Yes.
following for a minute. Like at SpaceX, I mean, he would just sleep under his desk. There's one point he wasn't even paying for an apartment. He's like, oh, that's just too much money. Like I got to put the money in the business. Like he was just sleeping at his job. People hate to hear that or they're like, what the fuck? But like that's just the kind of person he was. And he's like, I need to get the job done, so this needs to be done. So everything's in his companies. I wouldn't necessarily. I don't know his lifestyle now. It looks better from
Hmm.
what I've seen on social media, but like since I followed him, His life's kind of shit. I mean, he doesn't even sleep half the time.
Yeah, no, it seems like he sleeps like maybe 4 or 6 hours a day. I think I've even heard him quoting
Yeah.
himself saying that.
Right.
But it's just interesting, very like just how just his whole life, you watch this guy from South America, move to the States. What did he
So
start
it's
like?
so controversial, Tom, to even bring this up, honestly, because people are learning about him and what's true, what's not true. I like to say I know the basic. But basically, like his dad owned an emerald mine, people
Okay.
in South Africa, because there's a lot of minerals there. He's Dutch. The Dutch came through and colonized the place. And people want to say he was born for money. Yes, he was born for money, but he ran away from home. This is controversial. I don't know. He went to college in Canada because he had an abusive father. Again, this is just sources I've read, biographies. A lot of people want to say differently. He was basically homeless, but he was such a smart guy. Like I would throw parties at my house for free in college. Oh my God, bro. I read this after college too. Elon Musk actually rented out a mansion and he made money off the parties he threw. This is how he
Genius.
survived in college, bro. So he was having fun, doing all this shit. Like this guy was an entrepreneur from day one. He had talent. Like that's why I'm like he like ran away from home. Like a lot of people say he's from money, this and that, and like just getting put in these positions. No, he's essentially homeless at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still like for a minute he didn't even have an apartment. You know what I'm saying? But his backstory is so controversial because who's telling the truth? Is his telephone? Obviously, he's gonna tell you some heroic story. I don't know. We don't know the fucking guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true.
But like going back to him being a generalist, because this is what I learned from him, like growing up and stuff. Like, how does someone get in so many things? But like one thing I live by is like first principles. I don't know if you've heard that, but Elon Musk talks about that a lot. He's like, and I do this with everything, the podcast, fighting. Like, what are the first principles? The first step, the least common denominator in all things.
Well, what is it?
No, well, it depends. It's like what you're doing. Like, for example, with Musk, it's like, well, I want to make electric cars. I'm keeping it really simple. I want to make electric cars. I want to shoot rockets into space. I want to go to Mars. I want to burrow tunnels under the ground. I want to get into AI. Well, what's the first principles of this? How do you get this started? Money,
Yeah.
business. I need to be a businessman. He's not a natural businessman. Growing up seeing him, bro, like he's starting to get his voice. But like, bro, like this dude is awkward as fuck. You can tell he's just on his computer 24 hours a day. But now he's like going out into public. Social media is a big thing, so he got into that. But like that's the first principle. Like, do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
It's like, what do I need to start a bunch of businesses? I do this in MMA too. What do I need for all the martial arts? You need a strong body.
Yeah.
You need sleep, good nutrition, first principles. How do I
Basics.
get good in all those things? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not just how I get good in Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu. I don't want to specialize. How do I get good at everything doing one thing? That's what Elon Musk taught me. That's why I'm like, no, being a generalist. You see, I'm biased by like my temperament, people I like. But like, I'm like, that's fucking amazing. Elon Musk taught me that, bro. Because that's why that guy could do anything. Like, I mean, one of the greatest entrepreneurs of all time, love him or hate him. And what he's doing is outrageous. I mean,
Yeah.
first entrepreneur in history to just make enough money and launch a rocket into space. How is that legal?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, holy shit.
I thought I was lucky to launch the rocket in 8th grade.
Oh, right, right. Yeah, I'm glad it went up in there.
Yeah, bro.
At least went somewhere. But yeah, Elon Musk taught me that with first principles. And I take that into everything, bro. Because I knew I had some first principles, like going on the podcast. I know how to edit reels, mess a little bit of audio.
You're pretty good at editing reels.
No, thank you. I appreciate that.
For real, dude.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, I was trying to look for first principles. What can I carry over into this other subject? This is how I always think about it. And I want to say Leonardo da Vinci. I mean, name all these people. This is how they all started. Like Leonardo da Vinci was learning math, architecture, anatomy, all these things, and it made him a better painter. And you could see it in his paintings. But then he knew all these other things. You know what I'm saying? So it's like crazy because it's like, I don't know. It's just, and do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many examples. It's so hard to say.
It's almost feel like specializing in the basics, which is the most general thing you could do.
Yeah, master the basics, yes. Everything.
It's probably the biggest thing that people just look over in life. It's really mind blowing to me. that even anybody can do that. But I think everybody is like always looking for the secret.
Yes.
And the secret has always been the basics. You know, even in like my profession. What's the basics? Show up on time. Listen. Real basic one, call me back. Show up, listen, call me back.
First principles right there.
If you did those three things in real estate, you'd make $1 million.
In anything.
Yeah,
Take that to anything. Again, first principles, bro. The skill that you learned, you know what I'm saying? You could take that into anything.
Yeah, that's a
Obviously,
very good
there's
point.
some things you got to go through. But that's how Elon Musk operates. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not everyone's a born anomaly or phenom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I really believe, like, my personal experience, my bias, you know, my closed-minded worldview, like, I feel like that's the way to go. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know, I'm not that smart. I'm not Bill Gates. I'm not Zuckerberg.
Do you really feel you have a closed-minded worldview?
Well, I'm just saying naturally.
I feel like you have the most open worldview as far as like your mindset.
Most open?
Yeah, like because you're
Is how open-minded I am. I
every-
realize I'm closed-minded. I'm like, holy, I don't know anything. Like, what the fuck? Like,
Well, that's one thing I've always noticed about you, Enley. You're not afraid to turn the page. You're absolutely not afraid
Appreciate
to turn
that.
it. And even if you've turned it and you realize you're on the right or the wrong page, you're not afraid to turn the next one.
usually on the wrong page.
But I think that's the best part about about it. You know, you're curious. You know, and you're not afraid, like I said, to push the envelope.
I just want to see something new. You know, again, this is going back to being generalist. I'm just all over the place. I want to see something. I get bored, bro.
Yeah.
I get bored. I can't be doing the same thing every day, bro. It was the same thing with like MMA. That's probably my only problem. Probably the same thing in my business. I need to get better at boxing, for example. I just need to keep on boxing. I love boxing. Talk about boxing all day. But I'm going to lose my mind if I do this for a straight week.
What,
And that's
box?
discipline. Yeah, bro. I got to throw some jiu-jitsu in there. I got to pick some people up, take
Yeah.
them down. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I need to change this up. I lose my mind, but like, you know, because that's discipline, right? Just keep on doing it over and over again. Don't even
Obsession.
think about it. Yes.
You have to be like compulsively obsessive to not only specialize but to succeed in it. It's interesting. It's very interesting.
That time we got like an hour in, bro.
I thought it was a
Can you
good.
believe that?
Oh, dude,
That flew by.
it really did flow by pretty quickly.
I'm like, damn, hour. I'm like, I thought it's been 15 minutes. I'm like, what the hell? See, bro, again, I could legit be here for hours with you, bro.
I mean, we've had like 3-hour phone conversations.
Oh, yeah,
Those are the
nothing.
ones that should have been on the podcast.
Oh, yeah, we
Just
could have kept on going.
Just ranting about God knows
Oh,
what.
There's so many conversations that are just gone,
Oh,
just
yeah.
lost, never heard again. You
Well,
know what I'm saying?
That's why I think these are important.
Yes. This is why we got to record these conversations.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Tom, this is fire, bro. I'm really impressed with the studio, impressed with Sean. I'm thankful for everything. I mean, like, great experience. Learned so much, bro. Had a fantastic conversation because it's already hard to get an hour out of you, you know what I'm saying? So I'm really grateful for this. But this was awesome, man.
Hey.
Really appreciate it.
It's just as much pleasure for you as it was for me.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tom. We're going to do it again.
100%.
Fuck yeah. Take it easy, guys.